Hello. I've just come in from work, and at work I had a call from my agent telling me I had an audition to do, which is great, but also, I don't think I've sung since I came back from Australia. And so I thought I would just document the process of learning material for an audition and getting myself ready for it, doing the self-tape, all that jazz. Now, luckily, today was quiet at work, so I could already get started on some things. So I'm going to tell you about those first, and then I'm going to tell you about the next steps. For the record, I very much don't expect to get this role, and that's not why I'm documenting it. I really don't expect it, but I just think people probably are interested in what's involved in, auditioning. Obviously, if this ends up being a role that I get, that would be, doubly awesome, but for the time being, I'm just happy to have got an audition because I've not auditioned, I think, since Australia, and that's very much partly my own fault and partly, Christmas season and whatever, but I'm very happy to have got something, and this is a specific breakdown that actually a few people had already seen and sent my way. And at the time I was sort of like, well, what'll be will be, but now I've got an audition, which is awesome. And I actually don't know if I knew that my agent was putting me up for this. I cannot remember because I'd already seen the breakdown from so many other people. I can't remember if we ever discussed it, but we're here, so let's do it. So my agent called me whilst at work, which usually is a bit hard because I don't like picking up the phone when I'm at work, but when I see it's my agent, I know that I should. Luckily today my manager wasn't actually in, so I felt a little less bad about picking up the phone, and I mean it was only like a 5-minute conversation, but I still feel weird about it usually. And if I don't pick up the phone, I either get a voicemail or an email or both, or another call later in the day, but either way the information does get to me pretty soon after. So then once we've had the chat where my agent sort of gives a brief outline of what is expected of me and what the production is, then they send through the information, and that's the information directly from the casting team. So it tells me sort of who the director is, who the casting director is, who the MD is, what the overall story is. In this case, it's an unknown musical, it's a brand new one. And obviously that also makes a big difference because sometimes it'll be a show you just know inside out anyway, and then other times it's something like this where you have no sense of anything, you just don't have a clue where to begin even. And then in this specific instance, they gave 2 different songs from the show, so again, songs no one's heard before, and they've provided sheet music for both, a sort of track that you can learn the melody to, and then a backing track. And then they've also provided a scene to learn and read. And that's about it. So it's not that much information. And obviously you can glean some things from the material that they've given and also from the overall sense that they're trying to tell you about. But it's still really limited. So my first step when I get that material through is to read through the bit of script that they've sent and listen to the songs and just get familiar with the feel of it all. And also I always write down lyrics and scripts into my notebook just because I find that it helps me learn by writing it, but then also I like to be able to see it like this rather than have a whole script or a whole sheet music or whatever. Then the fourth component to this specific audition, and again each audition is different, every single one, but in this case fourth component is to sing your own song, as in you get to pick a song, and they've provided the style, but that's it. They've said just give us a short clip of you singing in this style just to get a sense of range and vocal ability and whatnot. Which to me is interesting because they've already asked us for 2 other songs, both of which do have a decent amount of range. But maybe they're being nice, maybe it's their way of saying, if you can't learn the songs this way, we'll give you another option to show that you can do it. And so they've given the style, but then you still have to think about which song works best, because even though it might be contemporary or pop rock or legit or any kind of thing, it's still quite a big scope, and the story that songs tell can vary so vastly. And so you end up, there's so many choices and you need to try and find one that still will suit the show, even though you don't know much about the show at all. Now in this case, I had an idea. Actually, I didn't, that's a lie. My biggest problem when I was in drama school was, not a problem, it was great whilst I was in training, but I would always pick songs to sing that would push me, which is great for learning. But then when you get to an actual audition, you want to sing a song you're confident in. And often, not always, but often, the breakdowns don't go as high, your vocal ability doesn't need to be as high as the songs you've picked. And so that's something I struggle a lot with when I'm doing auditions, is to find the right balance of it's showing me off, but it's not too difficult that it makes me look bad, but it's still within the character's vocal range. But I found 2 different songs, one of which I think I sing more comfortably, but is quite wrong, even though it's still in the same style. I think it's kind of wrong for the show. And the second one is one that I'm very confident with, but I'm just not as convinced in my own ability with it. And I think a little part of the reason for that is that it was the second song I ever sung in drama school. And obviously when you're starting out, especially me, like I wasn't a singer, you just don't feel like you're good enough and you don't feel like you can get good enough. And obviously you get better, but I think I still have that sort of mentality of like, oh, I'm not good. Even though no one ever said that to me, it was more just like, oh, work on this, whatever, which is great. But I do think the song is absolutely perfect for the show, so I think I just need to perfect it. Also, I generally sing in like a contemporary, empty style, and this isn't that. And so it's also, not just have I not sung in months, I also haven't sung in this style in a very long time. And so it's sort of also nerve-wracking to know what I'm capable of and like having to get back into that vocal position. This may be far too much information, or maybe you really enjoy it, I don't know. So once I've decided my own song, which I think I have, but I need to practice a lot, the next thing I did was this specific musical, and again, it can vary, but in this case, it's actually based off a true story, so that gives you just a little bit more to work with. So I started Googling whilst I was at work. Anytime I had a free moment, I would Google sort of the story or the character and try and find out a bit more that I could. And there wasn't that much information, but it does give you just a little bit more of a feel for the character and the story and like what they're going through and what the show overall is intending to be and to display. And I don't know, it gives you a better sense of everything. So that's everything I did at work. And now we're here. I think I'm going to start by warming up and trying to get the songs and the sounds and the feel into my voice, and also just get used to the fact that I'm in a block of flats and I need to just be able to sing because I'm nervous about that. So warm up, then I think I'm going to sing my own song because at least I know the tune and the lyrics and everything, and I can just practice that a couple of times and again practice getting into the right place. And then it's song learning time, and that's going to take a while. I'm going to start warming up. Maybe I will film you, but quietly, as in I'm going to be mute because I don't know about copyright and stuff like that. And also I don't want to be thinking about you hearing me. I do still have some semblance. I say still, I've just like not got rid of this semblance of a cold, which is just like a slightly runny nose and slightly slight discomfort in the like throat. But it's not the end of the world, and we're going to get through it. Let's go. My battery's running low, but that's excellent timing. I've just finished warming up. I've done it for about 10 to 15 minutes, and I'm now going to get started on the song I know and change my battery and try to stop that from smelling like it's on fire. I started speaking to you and then the camera went off because I hadn't pressed record, and I was like, why did you switch off? And it's because I hadn't pressed record. Anyway, I gave it a go. Oh, does that mean I wasn't recording any of it? That's annoying. But I did a practice run of the song, and what's really interesting is that I definitely sound more resonant, which is great because that was something I always struggled with, but I feel like my vocal cords aren't connecting as much as they should be, which is not so great. But we can work on that, I'm really thrilled about the resonance though, because that's, as I say, something I've not always had, and it's nice to hear that it's coming to me. To be honest, I think I've developed it a little bit over the last year or so, 2 years probably actually, since I was on the ship. But halfway through singing, I realised that I need to do a different accent than what I'm used to in this song. So I'm gonna have to go through it a couple of times and try and do the accent, I guess. I don't want to spend too many goes at this though, because I don't want to waste or, tire out my voice before I have a chance to look at the new material. So I might do it once or twice more, and then we get started on the rest. It's getting better, but we're gonna have to work on that over the next few days. I'm gonna have to sing that every day between now and Sunday, which is fine. Luckily I've got the time. Luckily for this audition to come now is perfect. So now I'm gonna grab my laptop and we're gonna properly have a look at the material. I had already, but let's get down to it. Let's get down to business. Ow, and drink some water. But I hurt myself, so whilst I'm waiting for my computer to switch on and load and everything, I'm just gonna try the other song that I was considering, even though it's wrong. I just want to give it a go. I'm so much more confident with that song. It just sits so much nicer in my voice. Things to ponder, although it has made me realise that that might be a really good song to have in my show reel, because it really sits nicely in my voice, but it is a style that I'm less comfortable with, so it's like win-win. Right, here we go. When you get stuff like this at the start, it always feels absolutely impossible and like you're never gonna get it. And by the end, usually you do get it. Oh, it's tricky though, because you expect certain things in music, and often clever music doesn't actually do that. Well, maybe not always clever, but in this case, I can see why they're not doing it. They're purposely keeping it unresolved, but it means that it's really unnatural for me. Let's go again. So I've got stuck on a place, and what I'm going to do is bring down the speed to 0.5, because that's the slower it'll let me go, and see if that makes me learn it better. That's not helping at all. That's making it even harder. Right. So sometimes when they give you songs, what they do is they will have a singer sing a demo track and you can just copy that. And then other times, like in this case, they give you a piano, and that can be trickier, and at least for me. And so I'm just needing a little bit more time, which is fine. Luckily, I've got the time. But I think I'm going to switch you off for now because my battery is running low again, because I've just been doing this for the last 10 minutes and I'm going to keep doing it. So I'll see you after. Alright, so another thing I try and do if I'm struggling, because I'm starting to get it, but now I'm trying to focus on like the nitpicky. And so what I do is, because I can somewhat read music, not fantastically, but enough, I take out my piano app and I just try and play the notes and slow it down, which doesn't work at all if I'm having a problem with rhythm, because my sight reading of rhythm is pathetic and my playing of rhythm is pathetic, but it helps with determining the notes and, you know, making sure I'm getting those right. Anyway, I'll carry on with this, but that's just another thing I try and do. I've probably spent about 10 minutes on one phrase, but I think I've got it. I've been using my piano and then going through it really, really slowly, and I feel like I've got it, but I am gonna practice a lot. We're not even like close to the end of the song. That's a third of the way in. But my potatoes are finished, so that's good. And that means that once I'm done with this, actually that's not why, but once I'm done with this, I will start on supper. And I'm excited for my mushrooms. I feel like thrilled by the, oh, you weren't, this is a vlog, never mind. Let's keep going. I've sung it through 2 or 3 times and I'm definitely starting to get a good feel of it. But what's interesting is I've suddenly realised, having sung it through a couple of times and going through the lyrics and like how I'm gonna act it, I've realised where it comes in the story, because it's sort of referencing something that I could find out from real life, like something that really happened. So that feels really helpful because it definitely gives some more context and can help with my acting choices. So that's good. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about it acting wise and vocally. The main thing is there are some long phrases that I haven't had to breathe for such a long time, so I just need to practice my breathing. I am also sat on a chair. Probably would be better if I stood, but I'm looking at lyrics and stuff at the same time. So I am going to give it a go now with just the backing, see how we fare, and then I'm going to move on to the next song, just start sort of getting a feel for it, and then I think I'm going to cook, because I'm getting bored, to be honest. Doing this requires a lot of focus, and I've been at work all day, and I just feel like we need to take it slow. I can maybe have a look at the scene or something, but learning music takes a little bit longer. Do you know what? That went a lot better than I was expecting. I was able to do the jumps that I didn't know if I would get without the help of the piano. And amazingly, the very end of the song is all sort of con la voce, which means that it's the voice leads. But obviously we have a fixed backing track that I hadn't practiced with yet. And yet my timing was bang on. It was so good. So that was very satisfying. Right, I'm gonna sing it one more time because it's kind of satisfying getting it into my voice. And then I'm gonna move on to the next one. That all wasn't as good, but We're getting it. We've got all the notes and everything. We just need to work on the voice itself. But it's okay, I've got a whole nother song to learn, so we will be fine. It's funny because sometimes when you hear these songs for the first time, you're like, this is not a great song. And then you learn it and you're like, actually, this is really good and really fun to sing. Maybe I shouldn't admit that on camera. What if I do get the role? But here we are. I'm telling you the truth. I've grown to it. It was just the very first trying to learn it more than anything. It's a gorgeous song, but it's a tough one. The intervals on this are ridiculous. Maybe they're not. Maybe they just feel that way now at the start of it. But wow, that feels like I'm going to be using my piano a lot. Oh, I mean, it's just crazy. Right, I'm gonna... Oh, I don't know if I should just like bother starting now or if I should not. Towards the end it gets easier. Towards the end it gets more like instinctual, I would say, instinctive. Although even then, it's still tough. And the final note jump, you think it's gonna go one place and it just does not. And it's quick, this one. It's like very fast paced. Right. Let me just start so I can get an idea of what I've got to face. This might be easier for me if I do it a slightly different way, which is to write out each individual note because they jump so quickly, and then I can just play it quickly as well, rather than trying to sight read. Because it's also got lots of flats and things, so yeah, we're just gonna take a minute. I mean, it starts really low, like right on the cusp of my vocal ability, my vocal range. Here we go. Seems so unnatural. That was a struggle. That was like 5 minutes worth of just trying to get the first measure. This is gonna take a while. 2 measures. I'm going to record me playing it on the piano, and then I'm gonna stop and make my mushrooms and just listen to the recording a couple of times, but not try and sing because I'm struggling. All right, so here's the story. I've had supper and I sung through the first song, I think twice, and I'm, feeling quite confident with it, which is good, but I have lost all motivation and I'm really struggling because on the one hand I'm like, oh, it's fine, I can relax, I've still got time, but then on the other hand I'm like, well, sleep helps remember things, and so maybe if I learn it now and just like focus on it, it will help me to have an extra night's sleep to like let it settle in, if that makes sense. Even if the sleep thing doesn't, just in general having an extra day of like having it in your voice and being familiar with it is good. So maybe I'm gonna force myself to learn a little bit more. I mean, I listened back to the recording and it's useless. It doesn't help at all. I mean, I'm sure it is helping a little, but it doesn't feel like it is. I am quite chilly, which is obviously not ideal, and my computer battery is starting to run low, so I may end up under the covers, which is fine, and I may also make myself a cup of tea, which is also fine. I'm also gonna try and do stuff to prepare me for learning the lines. As I say, I have already read through it once or twice and written it down, but I think what I'm gonna do, and this is something I often do, I'll do 2 different things. Number 1 is I'm gonna record myself saying the lines, and then I just listen to that on repeat, and it really helps know like what the next line is or how the phrases link and things like that. But obviously it doesn't help with like cues and direction and things like that. And then the second thing I'm going to do, and actually I think I'm going to do both of these before I go back to the music. The second thing I do is I record the other lines in a way that I can then practice with them. So that way I can just like pop headphones in while I'm, on my morning commute and practice the lines, under my breath or whatever. So I think we'll do that one first, and then we'll do the second recording, and then we will look at the music again. Let's go! I'm just making a cup of tea, but I thought I'd let you know I've washed up, and what I've been doing while washing up was first listening to... Actually, that's not true. All I did while washing up was listen to the recording of the other character speaking, and I had my notebook up against the windowsill, and I was just trying to like say the lines in response and then get better at not looking at my notebook, and I've more or less got the lines down. I think I'll forget them in the morning, but then get them back really quickly, so if I just keep practicing every day between now and Sunday, I think I'm going to be very confident with the lines. It looked like a really long script. It looked like it was 3 or 4 pages, which I've seen before, but it just looked like a lot, but actually it's not that much in terms of lines, and especially not my lines. Most of my lines are just like a singular sentence, which makes it really easy to learn. And I feel like it's also helping me to get into character a bit more, and I feel good about that. I feel good about the 2 songs so far. I do not feel good about the 3rd song at all, but I can hear my kettle's boiled, so I'm going to make my cup of tea, I'm going to go to the bed, and I'm just going to do my best, and if I need to stop, I'll stop. But we've got further than I think I thought I would get this morning, or when I got the breakdown. It would be so great if I could learn, even just vaguely learn, the 3rd song, because then at least it's like in my mind as we go into tomorrow. Let's go. Hello. It's about 10:30 and I'm dropping. So I think I'm going to do my daily like Wordle strands, those kinds of things, because I haven't done them yet. And then I'm going to go to bed. I did spend a little bit more time. I spent a lot of time procrastinating, but then I did spend a little bit more time on the song. And the good news is once I learn like the first 4 measures, which I sort of had started doing, the rest is fairly repetitive and also a bit more intuitive, I guess. And I just need to get past it. But I felt like I was doing really well. And then I decided to have a go at it without the piano, but just the backing. And that was bad. I mean, the backing is empty. It has like a note here and there, and that's about it. So there's very little to go off, and that makes it even harder. But at least I now have a sense of like the feel of it and the sound of it and everything. So I'm just gonna accept that and then come back to it tomorrow. And you know, I've got the whole evening tomorrow, so it should be enough time to go through it all. And then theoretically on Friday, again, I've got the whole day off. I am hoping to go for a run, and Shabbat does come in early, but there should still be enough time there. And then I've also got, you know, at least half a day on Saturday. So we should be all right. We should be ready to do it by Sunday. I may even do it Saturday night, although I do like using natural lighting. And I've just realised I've never filmed anything in here for a self-tape. So I need to figure out where I'm going to do that. Interesting. Hadn't thought about that. Interesting. Anyway, I will worry about that at another point. I am getting very tired. So I will see you later, or not today. Bye. Hello. It's the next day. I've had a long and busy day at work. It was crazy and I'm very tired. I was on the bus home and I was like, I am struggling to keep my eyes open. It wasn't as bad as I've sometimes had it. I've definitely had times where I'm genuinely fighting to keep my eyes open. This time it was very doable, but I was just, my body is tired. So I'm really gonna try and just get these songs down enough, and hopefully once I get past like the warming up and practicing my own song and the song that I already more or less know, I hope it'll only be like an hour that I need for the second song. Actually, I'm hoping less. Like, I did have a sense of it yesterday already, so I'm hoping it won't take that long, but that's how long I'm gonna allow. So it's now about 6:30. I think I'm gonna allow until 8, and it may not even take that long, but that's time to warm up, go through my own song, go through the song that I've probably forgotten some of, and go through and learn the third song. I did this morning listen again to the recording first of me saying the lines and then of me doing the other part and trying to respond with my own lines. And I felt pretty good about it. I knew most of them still. And then just now this evening, like as I've come in and unpacked my bag and things like that, I just again had I think 2 or 3 run throughs and it's still mostly in there, which is great. But what I do want to do is re-record me saying the other lines because I'm going to use my own recording to do the self-tape and I just need the timings to be a little bit better and also my speaking to be a little bit clearer. But that won't take long and that's not for right now. Right now, I'm going to warm up. Because I'm cold, I'm very cold. And I'm hoping that having sung a bit yesterday means I'll be a bit better today. That's what I'm hoping. We will see if it's true. I won't record the whole warm-up though, because you saw it yesterday and it's just not necessary. This is gonna be a long enough video. I've still got lots to document before I'm done with the audition, so we're just gonna skip that bit. If only I could too. I really don't like warming up. It's not something I enjoy doing either for singing, nor for dancing, nor for running. Like I really don't enjoy warming up. I feel like it's a waste of time, but I know it's not and that's why I do it. I'm really enjoying singing this song. I've sung it like 4 times and I didn't need to sing it more than twice. There's one bit where it's high and you need to hold your breath for a long time, and I'm struggling with that bit, but aside from that, I love this song. It's fantastic. It's so much fun to sing. The acting is great. Oh, I love it. We've really done quite a turnover in 24 hours from I hate learning this to this is a great song and I want to sing it all the time. I kind of can't wait for this to be a real song in like the public world so I can use it for auditions and maybe a recording or something. I really, really enjoy it. But realistically, I think I'm just putting off learning the next one, and I need to get my computer for that. So while I'm setting up my computer, I'll sing this one again because I love it. Good fun, good fun. And I think I learned the lyrics, which is good because I think about 5 minutes ago I didn't know them yet, so that's good. Let's go. My computer was ready literally as I finished the song. The timing could not have been better. Let's go, let's learn. Woo. So I figure I have the second half of it down, so I'm gonna give it a go with the piano, but I've not got high hopes. This is not good. It's because the piano, all it gives you is dun, 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 which is not particularly helpful, and there's a lot of like knowing it. And the truth is, I noticed just now when I was practicing the second song, I could almost hear the piano melody track in my head as I was singing it, and I think I just really need to get this one in my head, because if I hear it in my head then I can sing it, but I just can't hear it in my head, and I think that's just because I'm not familiar enough with it. So we're just gonna keep going and have fun. There is a really unnatural cutoff to a word. It feels unnatural to me. Basically, it's you expect the note to be held for longer and you don't, so you jump onto the next word, but you're staying on the same note, which is purposely flat and it doesn't resolve until later, and it just all feels really unnatural and really awkward. Every time I do it, it sounds wrong. This is so much fun. I'm having a great time. Ugh, keep going. I went for it from the beginning, and my timing wasn't great, and my notes weren't pitch perfect, but it went better than I was expecting, and I kind of feel like the bit that I thought I knew I got, which I didn't get last time, I did get this time. So obviously, like, I need those prior notes to be able to get there, but I'm getting better, which is a win. And it's only just gone 7, so that's also a win. I really should put my potatoes on because they're gonna take an hour and I'm gonna wanna eat, but I need to, maybe I can put it on repeat and just, yeah, I can put it on repeat and I'll just play the piano whilst I do my potatoes. Oh, my voice is going. Let's keep drinking some water. Oh. Okay, so I listened to it about 1,000 times over whilst doing the potatoes, which are now in the oven, and I've now just given it a go, once with the piano and then once now with the backing as well. And I feel like it's starting to sink in just a little bit. It's not going to be perfect. It will be right at the end of my tape because it's definitely my worst, I think, of everything that I'm going to have to do. But at least I'm not going to just not be able to do it at all. It's slowly but surely coming in, and it's only 7:20, so we've still got time. I mean, I've got ages for those potatoes to be in the oven, so I've just got to keep practicing. But what I just mentioned is an interesting thing as well with self-tapes, in that unless they specify, usually all they ask is that you put all components into one video, but they don't always say like an order. Usually they don't, and so naturally I always do it, and I think it makes the most sense to do it in the order of showing you off best to worst. So in this case, I think it's highly likely that I will start with my acting, then I will do, I don't know if I'll do my own song or the first one of these, because honestly, I like the first one of these and it feels like it's quite nicely in my voice, but I think I'll just see my takes on the day and see which one I feel is better. Then I'll do the other, and then I'll finish with this one because it's definitely my weakest. And it just means that if they don't have the time to watch the whole tape, they see the good stuff and don't see the less good stuff. I'm hoping by the time I do the tape that I'll be confident enough with this. I think what I might do is give it a go, maybe tomorrow. No, I can't. If I have time tomorrow, I'll give it a go, because if I send it on Sunday, which is my plan, if my agent doesn't like it, I don't really have much room to fix stuff. I mean, what I could do is send it, if I can send it before I go to work on Sunday, then I could always retake it in the evening if necessary. Not that that would be my preference. Oh, especially not because I finish work at like 9:30. And I don't think it's likely I'm going to get to do it. I could do it Saturday night, but I don't like doing it in the evening when it's dark. Maybe I should test the lighting. I'll test the lighting tonight maybe, which all that means is get the camera up and where I think I'm going to film, which I actually think is going to be the wall that's sort of in front of me, and see how that looks on camera. And if it's decent enough, which to be honest, we do have an extra light bulb here, so maybe it will be decent enough, then I could do it Saturday night and ask my agent, maybe if I'm lucky, to look at it before Sunday. And then if I need to redo it Sunday morning, I can. That is pushing it, but we shall see. Maybe I can do it tomorrow. We'll see. We shall see. Sorry, I stopped recording there without telling you anything else. I'm now going to just keep practicing this song for the next however long, probably half an hour or so, maybe less. I can so feel that my voice is going, so I really need to be careful. I'm not going to have tea now though, because I'm making supper, but I might have some orange juice. Yay. Anyway, let's do this thing. I just cannot figure out that ending. Ah! But everything else is getting better. I'm gonna stand soon, I think, and perform it. It's a minor second and it's disgusting. Again, I shouldn't say that. What if I do get the part? And I'm sure it would sound great, but my voice is struggling to figure it out. It will though. We figured out the other one, we'll figure this one out. And we're almost there. We got so much further than I thought I would even be able to get. Let's stand up, let's do this thing. I think I'm gonna give up. I think my voice is already giving up and I need to protect it so that it can carry me through the next few days. So I'm gonna do a little cool down, which I think I did share somewhere. Basically, it's the opposite of a warm up. Instead of moving upwards, you move downwards. There's a great one on YouTube that is Jacob's Vocal Academy, which is the one I use for everything. But one main thing that I always do is vocal fry, which is when you bring it down into the register where your vocal cords are moving together, but you're not like producing any sound, if that makes sense. Let me see if I can do it. Kind of like that, but that's not good enough. Now I'm gonna do the Jacob's Vocal Academy version. If I can find my phone. I'm feeling good though about the work I've done today, and it's only 7:35, 25 minutes earlier than I thought. Well, once we do the cool down, it'll be 7:40, so 20 minutes earlier. I'll take that. My potatoes smell really good. Done. Oh, orange juice time. I think that's where I'm gonna leave it for today, unless I end up doing anything more, but I doubt it. And I will probably see you all tomorrow because I've got most of the day free. I'm hoping to go for a run in the morning, but aside from that, it's gonna be time to crack on with this, even though I am also hoping to film some videos, so we'll see. But I have to spend some time on this. That's the priority. So I'll see you tomorrow. Hello, good morning. Not good morning, it's like almost 3. I've gone through the lines a couple more times and I've recorded the take that I want to use for the audition. Not my take, but as in the other character's lines. And I was about to start singing and then I realised I need to go and pick up my laundry in 15 minutes and I don't know, I don't want to really be running up and down the stairs and I don't know, I would just rather wait 15 minutes and then start. And then I'll have about 45 minutes to sing through the songs and hope for the best. What I will do is just listen to the tracks again and just sort of try and sing along quietly, if that makes sense, not full out, and we'll see if that gets us anywhere. Good fun. One thing I do feel I need to mention is that I'm quite lucky now that I do have the time to do all this as thoroughly as I am. Sometimes I'll get an audition with either way less notice or in a week where I'm far more busy, and then you kind of have to cut down a lot of this prep stuff and just focus really on doing your best with what you've got. So this isn't necessarily an accurate representation of how my audition prep goes every single time, but it gives you an idea, it gives you an insight. Hello, I've got about 10 minutes until Shabbat comes in and I finished my singing, and one of the things I did right at the very end, like literally halfway through my cool down, I suddenly had a thought of like, what if there's another song that I could sing for my own song? Because I just don't feel that confident with the song I have. Acting wise it's great, most of the singing is pretty good, but I just don't feel 100% confident with it. And I found another song that I had in my rep folder from school, and I think it will do. I think acting-wise it's good, vocally it feels better. It's still not perfect, but it's definitely better. I'm just going to reread the wording of the email, what they specifically asked for, but if I can do this one, I might do this one. I might end up doing both and just picking whichever's better. But it feels good to have a second option. All right, I'm going to make myself a cup of tea and grab my laundry, and then it's Shabbat. So I will see you probably tomorrow night. Until then, hello, it's about 7 o'clock and I'm finished, I think, I hope. Shabbat went out, I would say about 2 hours ago, and I was very clever. I started getting my makeup on before Shabbat went out because I'm pretty sure that's all right. I've never heard it not being all right. I got my dress on, I was already wearing my Magen David necklace. Now, this character was Jewish, so whenever the character is Jewish, I tend to wear my Magen David necklace unless there's like anything in the script that gives me a reason not to. But I was wearing it anyway because of Shabbat. Well, and just generally. I haven't done Havdalah yet, which is when you sort of finish up Shabbat, but you can do that anytime after Shabbat goes out. But I just really wanted to prioritize this. I also already moved my furniture and everything. Some of these things are probably debatable about whether or not you're allowed to do them during Shabbat, but I'm quite flexible generally. So what I did was I moved this table and all the chairs and stuff over just out of the way so I could use that wall as my self-tape wall. And initially I started filming on this little tripod and sort of angling it towards there, but I had to zoom in quite a bit, which obviously reduces the quality. And so I decided to just take out my big tripod. And luckily for this specific tape, which isn't something they usually do, they asked just for head and shoulders, which meant I could be quite close to the camera. Usually for musical theatre stuff, they want from the waist up, which I probably could do with the bigger tripod. I think I would just have to put it a little bit further back, but I do think it would be possible. But it being just head and shoulders definitely made it easier. Although they did want one long shot, which is really hard to do anyway. I find there are very few places where you can nicely do properly a long shot. That basically means they want all, or at least most, of your body. I did my best, we'll see what they say. And I've literally just finished editing it as well and checking it, so I feel good about that. It's so funny, the first song I learned, which I said I found a lot easier and a lot more fun, I literally did 2 takes and ended up using the first take, and that was fine. And then for the second song, I think I did about 7 takes, and I picked the very last one, and even that wasn't perfect, but it was the best of the ones I had. And I ended up going for the song I thought of last night in terms of my own songs. So look, we'll see. I've sent it to my agent. I hope she'll see it tonight, or at least before I leave for work tomorrow, because then if she needs me to redo anything, I can do it tomorrow morning. Whereas if she asks me to redo it, I don't really know. Like, I could do it Sunday night when I get back from work, but it will be late and I will feel bad for my housemates, or flatmates, not my housemates. Not my flatmates either, my fellow people in the block. Alternatively, I guess I could do it Monday morning, but that would have to be super early. So I'm really hoping there's nothing I need to change. We shall see, we shall see. I have completely run out of space, both on my SD card and on my computer. So I've constantly either had to edit it straight from my SD card onto my computer and then save it in like a compressed size. And /or I've had to move stuff from my computer onto I've got like a hard drive, is that what it's called? Which is also mostly full, but it's got enough, it had 15 gigabytes, so I moved about 15 gigabytes worth of stuff onto it. But I'm now well and truly running out of space. So I'm gonna edit this video, I think, immediately so that can also get rid of the space. As you can see, I made myself a cup of tea, which is very nice. Even before I started, my throat felt dry. It was so cold today, and obviously I walked a fair bit because it's Shabbat, and so you walk. And I did have some water, but definitely not enough. And when I finished, the cup of tea was definitely very nice. The current outfit, by the way, while I was editing, I'm wearing my pajama bottoms and slippers, and then the dress. And I'm still wearing makeup, but I'm gonna take that off now. I just wanted to check there was nothing I had to retake immediately, but it looks fine. Hoping my agent I can't edit this video yet because I need to tell you if my agent asks me to redo it. No! Maybe I'll just start editing it. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I should just edit a vlog. Anyway, that's the update for now. If you don't see me again, my agent didn't have any problems with it. And if you do see me again, wish me luck is all I can say. Bye!